Today we're going to be making a vanilla cupcake with vanilla buttercream frosting, and they're great because you can dress them up for any occasion. Sean and I will be decorating them for the holidays today. Welcome back to the Sugar Treatment, where we bake and heal together. My name's Anthony, aka the Baking Social Worker. If you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe to my channel, like this video, and email me at thesugartreatment@gmail.com. Let me know what you'd like us to talk about here on the show. Today we're going to be responding to one of you that has written in for some advice about how you can solve some fights that you've been having with your partner, and Sean has agreed to help me to answer your questions. So let's get started. First, let's mix our dry ingredients. Add 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour to a medium-sized bowl, 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt.
Hashtag whisking!
Hashtag whisking,
I
hashtag
like
whisking.
when you did that on your last video. Oh, I got stuff everywhere.
Don't spill it
I
already.
wanted a whisking party with you.
Thank you for being on my show. Okay, so when was our last fight?
I think our last fight was, the last big fight I remember is the camping fight.
That was a while ago.
It was a while ago.
A couple years ago even.
Yeah, we
like
were going,
big fight.
Big fight. Going on a camping trip. And I remember we even did it in front of a friend, which
Tell me what happened.
wasn't good. Well, I'm sure we have different sides of the story, but the way I perceived it is that morning, I got everything ready to go. Like, the car was packed. We were ready to hit the road.
Mm-hmm.
You come downstairs and you were upset with me because I didn't go get us coffee and breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, in my head, I was thinking, well, everything's ready to go. Let's just grab it on the way.
Yeah.
So I didn't understand why I was getting yelled at while I was waiting for you to get ready and I had everything done that morning.
So the reason that you were getting yelled at, which is so dramatic, but I was upset because I felt like I had been preparing for this camping trip for over a week. I bought stuff, I packed all of our clothes, I got everything in a pile and organized and ready to go. And I simply asked you before you went downstairs, can you please just go get breakfast because we're in a hurry, we're running late, we gotta meet a friend, blah, blah, blah. And I came downstairs and you were sitting on the couch and you didn't do it. And I was like pissed because we had been preparing and we were in a hurry. And you didn't seem to think or know that we were in a hurry. So that sort of set us off into this argument, and I think that you even we weren't screaming at each other, but we were definitely raising our voices, and we were, kind of
Stern.
set in our position. We were taking our position strongly. And you even threatened not to go on the trip.
I did.
I was
like,
well,
you went. I was like, screw this. I was like, the way I was seeing it is you were being a little mean, I'll just say that, because I didn't go get breakfast when we could have easily just got it on the way. And you're saying we were late, but it was a 3-hour drive away.
The truth is, it was more. It was about more than just not getting breakfast.
Yeah,
I mean, that's very silly to look back on. But looking back on it now, it's it was deeper. It was about distribution of tasks between us. It was about who has the power and who doesn't. Are we on the same page about are we going to be partners in life, or are we going to be living separately? So, I feel like I learned a lot about you in that fight.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about how we solved it and what we learned. But I think first we need to go ahead and get our butter and sugar mixed together.
This is
Should we do that?
Hashtag whisked.
That is whisked all up. So I just have here a stick of unsalted butter. So I'm going to put this into my stand mixer, and then I'm going to add 1 3/4 cup of sugar. Would you do that, Bubba?
Yeah.
Just go ahead and put that 1 3/4 cup of regular granulated sugar. Pop that in. And we're going to turn this on and mix together until it's nice and fluffy. Now that my mixture is pale and smooth, I'm going to go ahead and add 2 eggs, one at a time, to the mixture. So we've got our butter and our sugar here, along with our eggs. We did go ahead and make our milk mixture, which is just 1 3/4 cup of milk and 2.5 teaspoons of vanilla. Just mix that up real quick.
Extract.
And then we have our dry ingredients. So next we're gonna go ahead and alternate these, adding to our stand mixer on a low setting. But before we do that, I wanna talk about how this fight got resolved. So how did we fix it?
It does feel weird talking about a fight a little bit, not gonna lie.
Yes.
I think I need time to process, because I know that I react.
Mm-hmm.
I'm quick to react,
does.
and I don't want to. I didn't want to hurt you any more than might have already done in that moment. So it's best if I just be quiet, process myself, collect myself, and then able to speak like an adult.
which is very mature, and I appreciate that. I'm the kind of person that needs to talk about it right away.
You are.
I am ready. I already have my words. I already know how I feel. I want to talk about it right away.
I don't have
But
my
you
words.
weren't ready, and we're driving in this car for 3 hours.
We were stuck in a car for 3 hours.
So I think that I just gave you some time, and we turned on some music, and it was just like, I was kind of fuming. I was still pissed.
Yeah.
And
Me too.
then finally, like, you were ready, or maybe like the food had kicked in because you were also hangry.
As you were drinking your coffee that you ended up getting.
Yeah, we stopped and got coffee. But I think that we had kind of simmered and we were ready to talk about it. And I remember that I did apologize for having kind of a silly reaction to not having food. Because I recognize that that is silly, right? Like, we're not gonna, it's breakfast. I don't need to, it's just food.
Right.
And so I think I recognized that, and I did apologize to you as my opener.
Yeah.
Which I think was important.
You got to let down the dukes.
Yeah. And then I think that
I also apologize just for being a little emotional about the situation.
Yeah, and threatening to like not go on the trip because
Right.
you knew that that was an important thing to me.
And I knew that would hurt you.
Yes. So, we took responsibility for the things that we said during the fight that really don't mean anything.
Right.
And then I think we kind of dug into like some of the stuff.
Right, and then we
some of the
actually talked
issues.
about it.
Right, and we've talked about some of the things that we've learned about like how we fight and kind of like what our defense mechanisms are and like.
And I think I was bringing stuff in the past from past fights at that time, which isn't healthy either because it's you in that moment and what is this situation, not who you were in those other situations. Now you are again in this situation.
Yeah, which is a really good point that I want to talk about in our next segment here, which I want to talk about kind of some tips and some advice that we have for this viewer that wrote in. Right. And I think that's a really important piece. But let's go ahead and get to this. Again, alternating the milk and the dry into our butter mixture on a low setting. All right, our batter looks like it is done. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pull in our cupcake pan that's already got our cupcake cups ready to go. And I'm gonna fill these up using my ice cream scoop because it's just a little bit easier for me. We're gonna fill them up about 2/3 of the way. Just like that. I'm gonna go ahead and throw these in the oven at 350 for about 16 to 18 minutes or until a toothpick comes out clean.
I don't know. I think my big takeaway with everything when it comes to us in a disagreement is communicating. 100%. I know that's so simple, but it's like, hey, I feel this way, and I'm letting you know about that right now. And I'm not letting it build up.
Yeah.
And fester into something else.
And I think that you and I have done a good job of, like you were saying, when you start to feel something, I say it. Like, I'm starting to feel a little bit anxious, or I'm starting to feel a little frustrated, I'm starting to feel a little bit angry, or I'm really irritable today. I will communicate the feelings that I'm having to kind of give you like some warning, right? Like there's some yellow flags going up, like let's try to catch it before it gets to red, right? Because once we're at red, it's very hard to come back. Like
number one is respect. No matter what, you have to have a respect for your partner. It's
you
a
have to
partnership.
respect your partner. If you're to the point where you're like physically fighting or calling your partner names, you have a bigger issue.
Yeah.
Like that could be indicative of some kind of like fundamental problem in your relationship, and you may need to reevaluate whether or not this partner is going to be good for you. But normal, like, arguments are normal in relationships. You're gonna have fights. You're gonna have disagreements because we're human and we are having.
And we have to learn and grow with each other, And if you're not open to that idea, it's not gonna work out because you're not gonna be the same person tomorrow as you were today.
You have to be willing to make compromise.
Yes.
You can't go into a relationship thinking like, this is who I am, and if my partner doesn't accept it, then
they're not meant for me.
Then they're not
done.
I don't really subscribe to that school of thought because I feel like if you want to be in a partnership, like you have to be able to develop a personality as a couple. And then you're independent. You don't need to become the person that your partner wants you to be. You can still be independent and be who you are, but if you're in a relationship,
what is this identity?
What is this identity, and how do I exist in this relationship? And so I know for me, like I tend to be. I prioritize myself. I am very much like I am at the top of my list, right? And like,
yes,
there's a lot of reasons for that we don't need to necessarily get into. But when I got into this relationship, I had to learn, I have to like apologize. I have to like recognize that I made mistakes and like and learn how to fight differently with you than I would maybe with the outside world.
For sure.
You
me
know?
too. I know that I have my own issues, maybe some attachment issues and whatnot.
We all do. Ooh, the
We all do.
cupcakes are going to be done.
Cupcakes are done.
Yeah.
All right, so we got to pull them out of the oven.
Should we take
And
a
I think
look
we
at
should
those?
definitely get those. But I just want to say real quick, going back, I think the most important thing is as a partnership, what are your goals? I always say that. What are your goals? What are things you could fight and do together? And remember those things, because I feel like that's our strength. Is like,
Yeah.
what can we accomplish? How can we do it? And then let's do it.
That does help prevent a lot of fights because we're on the same page.
Right.
We're headed in the same direction, which I think is, it's really important as a couple to be on the same page. You need to be working toward the same things. Your values, your goals, they kind of need to align. To make the frosting, add 2 sticks of unsalted butter to your stand mixer. Now add 4 ounces of cream cheese and mix those together. Now add 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Now we're gonna add our powdered sugar a cup at a time.
Cupcakes are our thing. I think I remember even the beginning of our relationship, like sitting on the couch and eating cupcakes, and a certain kind of cupcake. But it was always cupcakes.
It was always vanilla.
It was always vanilla.
Vanilla cupcakes.
Vanilla bean cupcakes.
With vanilla frosting, which is what we're making today.
We are.
So it's kind of nice, and I like that.
But we're gonna holiday them out a little bit.
We're gonna dress them up for the holidays. But I do like that you wanted to make these, and I think it's important to remember the things that you do, the little quirks of your relationship that can bring you closer. Just some final reminders about being in a fight with your partner. Again, it's totally normal.
It is.
We're gonna fight with each other. Remember to try to have empathy for your partner. Put yourself in their shoes and try to understand where they're coming from and why they might be upset at you. Don't make it worse.
No.
Don't make the disagreement you're having worse by raising the temperature.
Right,
when you're
gasoline
having
on
a-
fire, right?
Don't do that.
Don't throw some gasoline on the fire.
Because we know how to do that, right? We know our partners. We know how to make
It's so
them-
hard not to push the buttons sometimes.
Yeah, you want to push that
You
button.
want to push the button. You're like, I want
you
that
wanna push
reaction
that
out of
button.
you. You want the reaction,
Yes.
but it's best.
But it's not worth it because it will only raise the temperature and it will make it worse.
Yeah.
And then you could, God forbid, start, getting into areas where you are calling your partner names or you're doing something that's so disrespectful that those things are harder to come back from as a couple.
And we're not perfect, so we're not saying like our advice here is the perfect end all be all. There's so many different ways for different people, right?
Sure.
Like and how you communicate. But I think like it's that word. It's like communicate.
Yeah, you gotta talk to each other. Don't let things fester.
No.
Don't just let things go. If something is bothering you, you need to voice it. Communicate it to your partner so that they know how to fix it. Because God, who knows if you just let things go and then 10 years later you're sitting here with the same issues you had at the start. You know, our issues have evolved with us as a couple as they should.
Yeah.
So with that,
It's a time.
yeah. So before we go ahead and take a bite, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure that you hit the like button because that helps, right? When they hit the like button.
Yes.
We like that. And comment below. Let us know how yours turned out. Remember, you can use this recipe for anything. This is just a vanilla cupcake with vanilla buttercream. We're dressing up for the holidays, but they're great for birthdays too. Make sure that you go ahead and email me at thesugartreatment@gmail.com. Let me know what you'd like us to talk about here on the show. I'm talking really fast. Maybe we'll do a video about it. And then the last thing, please subscribe to my channel. I would love to have more subscribers.
Subscribe.
Right? The
It's really
cake is
good.
so fluffy, right? All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. Keep it sweet.